am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Spider Knight?
Alas, friend Spider-Man, by what sorcery doth small ceiling torch shine forth?
It's called a light bulb.
Welcome to Prattle World. I'm your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to another edition of Spider Knights of the Round Table, where my guests and I will discuss a much-loved subject in depth and in a round table format. Now, I have brought, again, into the fold a person who's very close to me, does kind of, drive me a bit nuts sometimes, and we live very close together. You may describe him as a parasite. It is Matthew Catterall, my flatmate. Hello there.
Why'd you give everyone my surname as well?
Because I want them to find you.
It's fine, mate.
I want them to find you online.
Twitter.
I want to hunt you down.
Need more followers.
Yeah, you need more. You definitely need more followers. I do as well. But yeah, I want to name and shame you because you are who you are. Welcome back.
To be back
to the flat that you live in all the time.
To our dining room table.
Your own flat. Welcome home. Good day at work.
It was okay. I managed to accomplish nothing.
Hey, me too.
You've done okay. You've done it.
Yeah, I've done that. I've accomplished.
To be
accomplished doing nothing.
On Saturday, on my day off, I did not. So,
Well,
on your day off, you're
fair.
entitled.
That's fair.
As long as you've done the main things.
I did sort out my holiday stuff, so that's something. I sorted out, the visa thing and the.
You did.
And my travel insurance for all year.
Because we need you need the Meerkat movies because I've got my cinema card, and then that means we Meerkat movies.
Yeah, we can still do that.
We can now go
do our little deal
free on Tuesday and Wednesdays.
Yes.
Where I get a drink for taking you. To be fair, I'm happy with that.
I got my insurance with Admiral, but we're not here to talk about holidays, insurance policies, and our living situation. My hetero life mate, you. We're not here to talk about Oscars, Oscar-winning movies. So this year has been a turn up for the books. It has been the only time in, how many years? Is it 89, 82 years?
Is it 92? I think
92.
Is this the 92nd Oscars?
So I'm guessing 92.
No, 92 years. They made a big thing about it being the 92nd Oscars. It's not a major thing, is it?
No, it's not like...
101.
To be fair, if you got to your 92nd birthday, I'm pretty sure that would be a big thing.
My nan's 101. She doesn't go, I'm 102 next year. Big one.
I wonder if I'll make it. That would be an accomplishment. But who knows?
I hope she makes it.
I hope she makes it too. I hope everyone lives forever, but also that would be horrible as well.
Oh, God, we'd be living together forever, wouldn't we?
Exactly. No. You wouldn't want that.
It's okay.
But it is the first time ever that the Best International Film has also won Best Film. It's quite surprising. Have we ever had any other international films featured in Best Film?
No idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Well, if you guys know, tell us all about them. I'm sure if there's some Oscar nerd out there, Nathan Smith, that could tell us every little detail. There's also another first, in fact, the first time one of the highest grossing movies has not been nominated for an Oscar.
Is that the Endgame?
That is Avengers Endgame. So,
ridiculous.
They're record breaking in their own way.
Absolutely ridiculous. I get why the Oscars, what they are, the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
But I'm not an actor. I'm not a writer. I don't work in the film industry. And it's aimed at that. I want an Oscar for the best big picture, something like that. They were going to bring one in and to get more people watching it, but it diluted the quality. I get the reasoning.
They tried to do the most popular film, didn't they, with Black Panther?
That needs to be done.
Got rid of it. But it's because nobody watches the Oscars anymore. That's the problem.
Saying that though, this is the first one I've watched. I watched this one, didn't I? I watched. So it was good. I liked it. I really liked it.
I'm not a big fan of people kind of telling me what I should be watching and what I shouldn't be watching. I'm like, this whole podcast is about me, my cult kind of choices and stuff. I mean, look at this. Endgame won no Oscars. Suicide Squad got best makeup.
Good makeup. Good makeup.
It was good
terrible
makeup.
film.
Awful film, great makeup. But if it won it, it won it. Whatever. But this is I've not seen the film. You've seen it. Tell us a little about Parasite. Without spoiling it too much, because I will eventually watch it.
Quite honestly, it won the Oscar. I watched the award ceremony and I went, I've got to watch it.
Yeah.
To be fair, we went to the mine.
We did the trailer.
The trailer made it look like a scary thriller. And,
more like a kind of horror.
Yeah, I do not like horror, as you.
Yes, I'm well aware. I'm well aware.
I do not like any horror. The scariest film I probably like is Elf.
Elf, yeah.
Elf, when he's doing the.
There is actually a horror movie which is about an elf. I think it's the Elf.
No,
there's probably a couple more about scary elves.
Anyway, I just don't like horror films. Anyway, so I watched the trailer with you when we went watching one of our many films.
Yeah,
I thought, oh, that looks good, and then it looked a bit scary at the end, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, and then, I was very interested. I thought it looked very unique.
Yeah, and then read more about it, and then the buzz came more about it. It's winning all these awards. So I was like, okay, I'll read what it's about, and I was like, oh, that sounds good. Went to watch it. Phenomenal. Great film. Really good film. I know a lot of people don't like subtitles in movies, but it's easy to follow.
Yeah. I mean,
easy to follow. It's great film.
I'm dyslexic and I can still kind of hold my own in regards to subtitles. But I think he even said actually at the Oscars, he said if you can get over that, 1-inch barrier of subtitles, your world of films and the type of films you would see would open up dramatically. And he's absolutely right. Bong Joon-ho, the director, he's absolutely right with that statement. I couldn't agree more, which is why we have watched this particular film. So that's Parasite, and now we are looking at 2006's The Host.
The Host.
Which was, at the time, the highest grossing South Korean film ever. Over 20% of North Korea went to see this movie.
North Korea?
Sorry? North Korea. Nobody in North
Democratic
Korea. Nobody in North Korea saw this. Nobody. No.
I read this, but The Host was incredibly popular in North Korea.
Was it?
They didn't mind them watching it because going through the film, it shows South Korea's government and everything as inept.
Yes.
So they didn't mind it.
And the US as well.
It did show the US as inept. That's why they didn't mind it. So they actually... this is what I've read. Obviously, you don't know what information goes out of North Korea, but absolutely
or what goes in, to be honest.
Yes.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah. So, I read that it was quite inept. It was quite inept, so they actually didn't mind people watching it.
There we go.
20% of South Korea.
Yeah, 20% of South Korea, the entire South Korean population, 20% went to see that movie. So they have, a lot of people must have been talking about that movie.
Yeah, I can see why. It's their big budget film, isn't it?
It is.
What's our big budget film in the UK? James Bond?
Probably.
MGM.
Probably James Bond.
Filmed in the UK, still British film.
Yeah. Harry Potter. It's pretty big.
Never seen. I have seen them, but only because they kept them on repeat at work for a week just before Christmas.
They're not my favourite, I'll be honest. I probably would like them more, I think, maybe if I'd read the books, because I always feel like every Harry Potter film has a lot missing. Yeah. When it always gets to the end, I'm like, oh. And they're like, see you again next year when we'll be in terrible peril again, Harry. Stop going.
I don't know, like a lot of kids, I think I just missed the Harry Potter phase because I maybe just a bit too old now. 33, and maybe I missed it. I think the first two books were good from what people said, and then the third, fourth, it's just like growing it. And I was already that bit too old to then get into them.
It just wasn't for me. I think an uncle bought me the first three books, and I was just like, I didn't like the artwork, and that put me off immediately.
I know what you mean there.
Really awful artwork. Really
on the
cheap.
front cover. No, I didn't like it.
So I was like, now I think when it got to like the fourth one, they had this huge, amazing dragon or something on it, and I was like, that actually looks pretty badass. But yeah, the first, it was very much like, it was very kiddified, and I was obviously coming into my teenage years, and I was like, I don't want that. Yeah. Don't want to get into that.
I agree, yeah.
But that is that. So let's talk about the plot to this film. The opening, especially, is based on a real event. It's based on something that happened in 2000. It's called the McFarland case. Basically, it was a US military base by the Han River in South Korea, in Seoul. And a kind of mortician coroner asked a Korean assistant to pour some old kind of I don't think it was out of date, but it was old formaldehyde. And he said, pour it down the sink. They were like, well, if we pour it down the sink, that's going to go directly into the Han River, which is drinking water for quite a lot of the population. I think over 12 million people drink out of that water.
That's okay.
That's fine.
No.
That's fine. No, probably not. So so formaldehyde, if you don't know, it's a highly toxic chemical. It's used for embalming, of corpses and things. And it's said to cause birth defects and even cancer in some people. So these were dumped directly into, I think it was it was 20 gallons, yeah. So that was dumped directly, and this was by the US military. Apparently, there was some talk about the water treatment plants kind of, diluting like what you've said, water treatment plants diluting and neutralizing the ingredients in the formaldehyde, so it would not necessarily have affected. However, it's still... The act itself was still very, very illegal. And in 2005, the US refused to hand over the soldier to face Korean court of law. And this led to a conviction in America of that same person, so McFarland, and a formal apology from the US military, but he never served any jail time, which the Korean government felt was furious about, obviously, because they have affected potentially, 12 million people and, generations down the line could have been poisoned by this chemical.
It's just Americans, though. They just do what they want, don't they?
Well, not all Americans, obviously.
The
but
American government.
The American government is a bit shady, we'll say that.
Americans are lovely. I like Americans.
Yes, I like Americans too. And we have a lot of American listeners as well.
Do you?
Yes. So
are they mainly from California?
They are, believe it or not, because I have mentioned this. I have mentioned it.
I mentioned it. Getting a few followers.
Yeah, California.
California.
Please
don't.
You remember the OC? It was a great show.
Yeah, I remember it. I never watched it.
Did you not? You never watched? No. Never watched Seth and
I went out
and the
and
others.
played football.
Oh yeah, I hate football. So, I watched teenage dramas. I watched Dawson's Creek and the OC. Didn't watch One Tree Hill though. One Tree Hill was not for me.
I know what you're on about, but I know nothing about any of them.
You haven't
all
lived.
I know,
You
Dawson's
have not
Creek,
lived.
The gif of him crying. That's all I remember.
That was a good cry though.
We all need.
Yeah, let's talk about So that's the beginning of the film. So and then we jumped ahead. I think it's a few years, and these fishermen find like a little mutation. They're like, "Oh God, what's this?"
Oh yeah. They was like, "What's that?" Yeah.
Like, oh, and then they drop it, and they're like, "Oh, where did it go?" And then we have the main characters of this family that are this. I'm just going to describe them because I don't want to butcher any South Korean names because I struggle with Bong Joon Ho is. So we'll just go. I'm going to go the father, the grandfather, the daughter, the aunt, and the uncle. Those are the main characters. Mm-hmm. Those 5. So we'll just stick with that. So the father works with the grandfather in a little kiosk just by the river. They sell they're selling like some octopus, calamari or something.
Yeah, they sell the usual sweets.
It's like a corner shop. It's like a corner shop, but it's a kiosk.
A corner shop, and then
it's a corner shop without a corner.
Yeah, and then they sell like ramen bowls, like the ready to make ramen bowls. And
those as well.
Squid, the crabs, and everything they make.
Yeah, so it's all kind of out of the river.
So they do that. Yeah, they do that in Asia a lot. When I went to Thailand, they've got things like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, when I went to Thailand, I had I think it was like a fried cricket and a fried frog.
Yeah,
just tastes like oil. So that's all it tastes of.
As soon as you said that, I just literally thought about like black oil, not like olive oil. No, like
just black,
thick crude oil.
No, not that bad. No, just the cooking oil.
Cooking. Okay.
But yeah, so and then basically the daughter comes home from work, school, homework. It is work.
No, stop trying to make it something it's not. Yeah,
no, it's school. It's school. It's school. She has a uniform and everything. It's definitely school. She comes back. Her dad's a bit of a loser. The father is a bit of a loser.
Lovable rogue.
Okay,
lovable rogue.
I'm not talking about you, man.
I'm neither lovable
you seem
nor
to have taken that quite personally for some reason.
He's a lovable rogue.
Okay, he's a lovable rogue.
I'm a better dad than he is.
Debatable.
He was asleep on chocolate bars with
Pennies on his face.
Yeah, pennies on his face.
He was.
And I can't remember the last time I fell asleep and used a Twix as a pillow.
Fair enough.
I saw a picture of that on Twitter. Anyway, back to
back to the film. And the grandfather's he's quite a loving guy. He's nice, and the aunt is on the TV. She's in an archery competition.
Yeah, archery.
Yeah, she was not good.
I'd be shit.
She got the bronze, in fact.
You know, oh no, not bronze. Where do you think I'd place in that in the Olympics with my tremor?
Stick you in the kiosk. I think keep you there. No escape from that.
That's fine. Got Chris in there. That's fine.
So yeah, and then we get a kind of gist of the kind of family, and then later on we're introduced to the uncle a little later on. But it's basically just an all-out fucking monster attack.
It is. It goes
straight away. Like
that was good. I like that.
Within probably 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, easy. We've got.
I like that about this film. Really good. It's like what's it? Cloverfield. Remember Cloverfield?
Yeah.
You're like, where's the monster? Can't see it properly. And that annoyed me. I was like, just show me the bloody monster.
I mean, there is something to be said about hiding the monster and the reveal and the build up. But however,
I liked this. I just like
boom,
there it is.
There's another thing as well, like a lot of these monster movies, when they're using CGI to create the monster, they will often have it set at night because it's a bit scarier, you can't really see it. Also, to hide shoddy CGI. You know, if they're worried that it's not going to show very well. But this film is balls out, bright daylight. You see the monster within minutes. They go, oh, what's that under the bridge? Then all of a sudden it's in the water, and then it jumps out, and it's literally just on a rampage. And it's this kind of fishy, amphibian, mutated kind of freak thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good design, actually. I really like it.
It looks dated now, because it is 14 years old.
Yeah, we're looking,
and it's not a Hollywood... It's not like
the budget is a lot smaller, but I still think it looks quite good.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, I'd agree. I think
for its for its time,
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I didn't like the design of the monster.
No,
I wasn't a fan of it.
No,
it looked. Who did you say it was based on?
Oh yes, so Bong Joon Ho, he really likes Fargo, the movie Fargo, and Steve Buscemi, who plays a character in that, is very erratic and very like all over the show.
Yep,
very angry all the time. He based it on Steve Buscemi. Believe it or not,
I love its face just with Steve Buscemi.
You can just imagine this creature running at you with Steve Buscemi's face. That would be terrifying anyway. I mean, just those big eyes of his and everything. But yeah, so he based it on that, and it's very the inspiration comes from like a lot of places, like I said, amphibian life. They looked a lot at kind of deformities and mutations and things in animals and those types of animals. On its back, you can actually see fish kind of sticking out of it, like almost like like a fin, like a big fin. But it's like several fish. Towards the end, they're attacking the monster, and then fish falls out of it.
Okay.
So it's almost like the creature is just this big amalgam of all these different bits of life and that toxic waste, and that's all fused together into this one being.
Didn't even notice that.
Did you not?
Well, I've got terrible eyesight. I never wear my glasses.
There you go. Well, luckily I wear mine a lot now. So
we're getting older.
Yes. But yeah, that opening scene, like if you don't want to watch the whole movie, that opening scene is just great cinema.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of kind of there's bits where it's got its own arms and stuff, so it's pretty agile on land.
Its tail is like another, it's kind of like an elephant uses.
Yeah, it kind of ties people up and stuff. And there's a bit where it grabs this woman woman's reading a book, and it runs past her and just grabs her head and starts dragging her around. There's this American guy that takes like a road sign and starts trying to whack it with this heavy road sign and stuff. What happens in the end of the monster attack is the daughter of the father, the main character, is kidnapped basically because
he's trying to run with his daughter, but he grabs another kid's hand.
And
he turns around and he sees it's not his daughter, and you're just like, heartbroken for him. He was just trying to protect his child.
And he's like, he turns around, he's running, and she's and then he turns around, he looks at her, and she's like, "Why are you grabbing me?" Almost like, "Oh my god." Not like, thank you for saving me from the monster. Like, who the fuck are you? I would be like, oh, thank you for dragging me away and a bit quicker than I probably would have ran. But then somebody else is looking at him like, what are you doing, you weirdo? And pulls his daughter away from him. And he's like, and then he sees his daughter, and it's really violent, actually. It grabs her with the tail, and it just leaps into the water, does this massive dive. and it just disappears. And I'm like, the force she hit the water, her bones would have just been shattered. Like, she would have just been dead.
True, but we just don't. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Suspend our disbelief. But yeah, it's good. But then, what's really interesting about the film as well is tonally, it's really interesting because it goes from this kind of this horror element, this political kind of satire, and then also comes back to this kind of weird kind of Korean comedy as well, this family comedy.
If you watch the trailer, the first part of the trailer with the music showing the family, it makes it look like a slapstick comedy. I think if you watch that trailer, you'd be like, oh, that's funny. Like,
not unlike the Parasite trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the trailer gets darker at the end, completely agree.
I think some people might complain that the tone jumps around a lot, but for me, I think I don't mind it. It kind of works because when the tone does shift, it's really well, like the scenes that are funny and the scenes that are dark and the scenes that are disturbing are done that well. I kind of don't mind the connective tissue not necessarily being as seamless, but I think he's a very good director. I do appreciate his work. We really like Snowpiercer. That's one of his as well.
I've seen Snowpiercer twice. I really like that film. I think really, really good film. The dad from The Host is in.
Oh yeah,
he's in Snowpiercer, isn't he? I think it's him.
I think they were. If it's not him, I believe it was somebody. I think two of the actors.
It's one. I'm sure I thought it was the guy from The Host in Snowpiercer, but maybe.
I'd have to go back and have a look.
Yeah, Snowpiercer's phenomenal as well. But
so what did you? Do you have a favourite character or
the dad? Like I said, he's a lovable rogue. I just think he's kind of not give up on life or anything, but he just wants an easy life, have a nap. He works like on a river. He works, and in South Korea, the weather's going to be lovely at times. Really nice and warm. Works on a river, sees people having fun. He just likes to relax. I like the dad. And the granddad was cool. Yeah,
I mean,
was it the uncle? Didn't like the uncle.
Yeah, the uncle's kind of he's introduced last, and you don't really get that much from him.
I think is he like a Korean salaryman?
Yeah, he seems
Korean
like a
salaryman.
Korean salaryman.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets the spotlight. You know, we say that the aunt is a bit crap and stuff with the archery and and that, but she does by the end of the film. She is kind of almost kind of redeemed herself and becomes the hero of the piece. But I didn't feel much for the uncle. I could have done with a bit more. But it is quite interesting. But after the whole attack, it becomes this kind of almost like a virus movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
of like Outbreak-ish. Because they say, the monster's got a virus, and then
have you been attacked? Have you been affected? Did it touch you?
It's like, the blood got all over my face. Yeah. It's like, get him. And the guy in the yellow suit slips when walking past and just trying to. It's like, nope, just looking suave, still there.
And that's exactly that's it reminds me of stuff like RoboCop, when you've got all the satire in that, poking fun at these kind of big corporations, American corporations, all the yuppies of the 1980s and stuff like that. That's present here within this kind of this sci-fi monster movie. Is that kind of criticism of the US military and the Korean government and their response. And they're going through all this kind of. They believe the girl to be dead, and this is one of the scenes I think is probably the most funny, and then also kind of one of the most tragic as well. It's like the whole family come together and they're mourning all the people that died in the monster attack. The family goes up there and they just all break down. They're like, why did you grab the wrong girl? Why did you do this? All fighting, struggling on the floor, crying their eyes out. And it's very quite darkly humorous because it's just like,
They're all falling together on the floor.
They're all falling. And what's even funnier is in the background, someone's complaining about someone's cars blocked them in.
Yes. Yes.
And they're like, what are you doing? Just right in the corner of the screen is this like really basic argument going on above all this like horrible like over the top mourning.
Who's part there? Ford, KA, registration, EA. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say my registration.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I get you. It's funny.
But yeah, I think like I said, the humour is good and it does work. It also makes the tragic bits more tragic, if anything, is that the humour is so strong and the love between all the families. But go back to the whole virus element. It's really interesting because later on in the film you find out that the story of this film is basically it's a kidnap movie, and that's how Bong Joon-ho describes it. It's a kidnap movie. It's not a monster movie. It's just the kidnapper happens to be a monster. That's basically it.
And the government are lying.
Yeah, lying, not helping. If anything, they're being, they're blocking every potential avenue this family have to get their daughter back.
Yep.
And they're not helping. There's no assistance at all, and they have to do it themselves. And they're like you said, they're these lovable rogues, these kind of hapless character, the ordinary people plunged into an extraordinary situation, and they have to come out alive. And this whole the virus thing is a whole smokescreen because they don't know what's going on, the government, and they want to cover this up because they think they might be responsible for the creation of this creature. So it's a whole smokescreen and cover up, and this doctor reveals it to the father, and then they give him a lobotomy. They try and give him a lobotomy.
They do try to give him a lobotomy. I was like, why the fuck are they?
And that's just the kind of lengths. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you
better not be. I hate conspiracy theories.
But I do not doubt that I could see the government doing one or two of these things just to keep something under wraps. We've seen it before.
What were they keeping under? You saw the monster. Everyone saw the monster. It was widely publicised.
It was.
What are they keeping under wraps?
Their involvement.
Created.
I think so. But it's not. But again, they're inept. We're saying that they're inept.
They are. They were incredibly inept. And the South Korean government and the US. Armed forces. It just should be. Yeah, they were giving him a lobotomy, caught him, but they put him in. Yeah, so they caught him in that thing where they've all the family were crying. It was like, he had blood on it. I had blood on me. Get him. Yeah. Put him in a big bag, in essence. Yeah. Took him to like a secret hospital. Yeah, and tried lobotomising him.
Yeah,
crazy. And he got. And then they did give him a lobotomy.
They did. I think they did.
They gave him half a lobotomy.
Something I can't remember. Something happens, and then he gets out. But I remember he uses his own blood in a syringe as kind of like to hold someone hostage.
But they knew nothing. They knew there was no virus.
Well, no, there was a guy who's saying I don't know who he is. It's an American actor who's got slightly cross-eyed. Yeah, slightly cross-eyed. And he's saying, I don't think there's a virus. There's no evidence for a virus. And they were like, there's no virus. And it was like, oh, shush.
Yeah.
So I think there's people in that hospital, especially the South Korean assistants and the kind of the people working with the South Korean government. I think they believe there's a virus. I think it's the US government that possibly knows that there isn't one. There's an amazing lair that the monster has, which is actually, it's not a set. It's not CGI. That is a real sewer that they use for the monster's lair.
As you do. Put a child actor down a sewer.
Yeah, her first film.
Brilliant.
She was incredible.
She was really good. Yeah. Do you want to go down a sewer with this man? Dressed as a monster.
No, but she plays a really good part, and she's probably
she's like the heroine of the film.
Yeah,
really.
She is.
She's the heroine, even though she's been kidnapped. Yeah. She's really, really good.
There's a couple of homeless people that get kidnapped by the monster. One of them's eaten, and the other one, child, is taken back to the lair to be eaten later. But she's already down there and just trying to get her phone, trying to call her family and stuff. There's another scene where when they're in the virus kind of place, the outbreak hospital and what have you, quarantine, and they get a call from her. And that's the first time they realise that she could possibly be alive. And all the people are like, shut up, she's dead, what you on about? Virus is driving you crazy, you're not getting out of here. And then they're forced to break out and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Then there's a bounty on the brother.
they break out. Is it that the bounty is they break out, and then they get a van and they give some they say like triads or some gangsters some money.
Yeah, I think so.
Remember that bit?
Yeah.
And then they give them some money for a van so they can drive and pretend they're the clean-up crew.
That's
Even though
right.
they're wearing all the different uniforms. Yeah. And then they get pulled up to a roadblock and they know it's not them, but they just want a bribe. So they give them a bribe, don't they? Do you remember that bit?
Yeah.
Give them a bribe with a little tub.
It's all the pennies.
It's just some pennies. It's all I've got at the moment. It's like,
so the lovable rogue father, he's been saving... The daughter's complaining about her old phone, and the father's like, I've been saving up some money for you, and it's just like the tips from the kiosk. So it's just a big bowl of pennies. And he's like, she's like
our bowl of pennies.
Pretty much. I keep forgetting we have that. That's the problem. It would be bigger if I just remembered. I think it's quite interesting because Bong Joon-ho was obviously at the time there was a lot of stuff with Iraq, and the stuff that the US military were doing over there that he was very critical of as well. He's not. People have described this as an anti-American film, but
it's not.
It's not anti-American
not
at all. It's just it's casting a microscope over the inner workings of the US government, the US military. It's maybe we should look a bit closer at things that go on, but it's not anti-American. It's not a racist film or a xenophobic film in any form, because it's just as critical of South Korea's government.
Yeah, it just really is.
But yeah, it's an oversimplification, that, and I think and it's not fair on him because he's done American films, he's done all sorts of things. A lot of people asked why he didn't do Snowpiercer as a Korean film, and he said, well, it's about the last train and the last survivors of Earth. They're not all going to be from South Korea, are they? And I think that's a fair point.
Imagine being the only person who can speak English on a train that's just going around the world, and you'd be bored out of your head.
We'd just have to find other ways of communicating, wouldn't you? Sign language.
I'd have to learn Korean.
Do you know that Tarantino is a fan of this movie, Quentin Tarantino?
I think I did. I think you told me before.
And then he went over to a South Korean film festival, met him, and they got pissed for a week.
I'd love to get pissed with Tarantino.
That'd be amazing. Just chat movies and stuff. But he absolutely loves this movie. He saw this movie, he loves it, and that's why he wanted to meet him. And they've been steadfast friends ever since.
Yes, he said hello to him and thanked him at the Oscars.
He did. Yeah, because it's helped him. Because Quentin Tarantino is always a champion of lesser-known films, cult films, classic films. Inglourious Bastards and Django are named off of two classic cult movies from Italian directors, and that's why Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is all about Italian directors and filmmakers as well. It's a big fan of that sort of stuff. So that when they were designing the creature, I've just got a kind of list of facts that I find interesting. Do you have any facts
about the movie, or just in general?
You can give us a general one if you want.
A general one, a fact.
Bit of trivia, maybe.
Bolton Wanderers were the first ever football team to win the FA Cup at Wembley Stadium.
Right.
There you go, mate.
Fantastic.
A football fact.
Wow.
Soccer
that's the first time that's the first time anyone's mentioned football on this podcast.
You're a massive fan of football.
I curse you. A pox on your family.
I don't even watch that much sport.
You don't watch that much sport? What are you on about?
If you
constantly on.
Constantly on.
And then your son comes round, and then his football's on.
No, not his football, just our football. Yeah. We do like football.
And the wrestling, I don't mind. I'm cool with the wrestling, but everything else, I'm like
American football, NFL.
This is boring.
XFL now.
This is XFL. Why is there naked ladies in it?
No. Why would there be naked ladies?
I don't know. It's got an X in it. Mutants. Does it have mutants in it?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. Now, mutant naked ladies.
You'd love it.
They don't look like this fish creature, though, do they?
No, thank God.
So where are we?
Facts about the film.
I'll tell you what. Do you want? Speaking of nudity, do you want to hear about some?
Speaking of nudity.
This is a nice segue. It's a nice segue. So when they were designing the creatures, one of the initial designs someone came up with, one of the designers, was like an insect-like design. It had these kind of big, long, kind of sharp, kind of sticky legs.
Did it have its cock out?
You know what? You're not far off. You're literally not far off. So this particular design. the creator came up with an idea that he would strip the human naked with these kind of legs, these kind of stick-like legs, and then would devour you. And he did.
He's peeling a human.
Well, just of the clothes, not the skin or anything. He just eats the human whole. He just takes the clothes off.
I thought you meant strip him of the skin.
No, just the clothes. The clothes. So there's these three kind of pieces of artwork. This is on, if you want to find this kind of information, a lot of it's on the Optimum Asia DVD 2-disc release that I own. And basically it's these 3 or 4 images of this guy being stripped down naked and then eaten by the monster. But apparently Bong Joon-ho was saying that the photos he used for reference was of himself. The designer took photos of himself taking off his clothes and then drew himself in each of these images being stripped off and then eaten by the monster.
That's why.
Why? Don't worry. Oh, don't worry. There's another one that's even weirder.
Oh, God.
So another one of the designs of the creature featured 2 large testicles.
Wow.
Can you imagine seeing that?
2 large balls on the screen.
That's and like the design is literally like a kind of almost like a woodlice kind of creature, but with 2 kind of imagine like a kangaroo sack, but with 2 large testicles.
It's kind of like movie 43 where Hugh Jackman had testicles for his chin.
Thank God I've never seen that.
It is fucking dreadful.
But I think it was when they were messing around with kind of the gender of the creature, the sex of the creature.
In the film, is there a sex of the creature? Or
There's not much. There's not really. It's not really any kind of information, particularly like very detailed. I think probably
except for Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, except for Steve Buscemi. But yeah, there's not much I can say really about that itself. But I just love the fact that they had the balls to put balls on their creature.
Hey, look, if you can't put testicles in a monster, what can you do? We're not a dictatorship, are we?
Dictatorship.
That's awful.
The movie itself in Asia won several awards. So it won several Blue Dragon and Asian Film Awards. And it's rated currently on Rotten Tomatoes 93% fresh.
It's not 93% fresh worthy.
I very much enjoyed it, but I think one of the reviews that I've seen that a lot of people take umbrage with was that it's on par with Jaws, which is
it's not on par.
Which is
with
from
Jaws.
Ain't It Cool News, if you know the website and blogger and vlogger and what have you. It's Harry Knowles, I think he's called.
Harry Knowles, yeah.
Yes, yeah. He is. He's a very, steadfast defender of this film and obviously puts it up there with Jaws. I don't agree, but
it's good. 7 out of 10. I'd
say 7, 8 out of 10 for me. I think it was a lot of fun. I definitely think at least the opening kind of monster thing is
opening was great.
The opening's really, really strong. I think a lot of people turned out for it in South Korea because of the satire, because of the criticism and things like that. I think that's one of the reasons they went to see that movie. But yeah, on the whole, I think it's a really fun monster movie. If you want something a bit different, I recommend watching this.
A bit different, what you should do is watch it, but turn the subtitles off.
I mean, that'd be a bit tricky,
different.
Bit tricky.
That's how we learn Korean.
Is it? Is that how it works? You just all of a sudden know it's what they're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of Korean, the title for the film itself translates as the Korean title translates as monster.
Oh yes, I did know that.
Yeah, I think it was like Gwamil or Gwamil.
Host in English.
That's right.
Which, if you then Google the host film, a completely different film comes up.
That's right. I think it's.
I watched that at the start, so I was behind.
Yeah.
Good film. I didn't mind that.
You would.
No, I didn't. I was just joking.
But yeah, I mean, all the. I think it's a good mix of several different things and themes going throughout it. It's not like no monster sci-fi movie is ever just about a monster. It's not just a monster. There's obviously...
It's about my loved ones. I find a lot of monster movies is just about a family, stuff like that.
Yeah, what you could lose if this monster gets out of control. How have they become this monster? Are we the monsters? Are we humans that have created this thing? Aren't we really the monsters? Which I think it comes up quite a lot. Very Frankenstein-esque type, investigation. I won't spoil the ending to the film, but the Bong Joon-ho said he was inspired by a Vietnam film with Gene Hackman called Uncommon Valor, which I've not seen myself, but it basically involves kind of a group of military guys going back and saving Vietnam POWs. So they kind of go back after Vietnam and save them like 5-6 years on or something.
Should we watch that next?
Yeah, sure. And he was also inspired by the cult film Alligator, which features a girl buying an alligator, taking it home as a pet, and then the father gets mad, flushes it down the toilet, lives in the sewers, starts eating, I think it's like these animals that have been experimented on with steroids, so like dead dogs and shit that get thrown in the sewer, starts eating those, becomes fucking massive.
Have you watched it?
I have, yes.
Yes, of course. Right.
It was great. I enjoyed it. If you want a monster alligator movie, if you want a monster alligator movie, there was even a sequel as well. Believe it or not, that popular, it garnered a sequel.
Mate, there was a sequel to the movie you made me watch of Necromantic.
Oh yes,
which is Necromantic 2.
Even more romance.
No.
Romance.
No, this time it's personal.
This time it's personal.
It's not that.
Was it not personal the first time? It was definitely very personal.
This time it's personal.
That's just the tagline.
No. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's good. I don't like these B movie things you watch. I don't mind some.
You like some.
I don't mind some. Even some are just like, no. Like the one that it kind of tweaked my fancy a bit is Fabric. Is it Fabric?
Fabric, yeah, the killer dress one. Yeah,
the killer dress. Because I'm like, okay,
it could be all right.
Yeah,
it's very art housey, but I've not watched it yet. But it's on the old Skybox.
Okay,
so it looks pretty good. It looks
start charging you for £1 per download.
Well, I mean, we had to. I made you buy one particular film recently, which
I was going to discuss this on this. So you made me watch.
Okay, so with the kind of coronavirus being what it is, I've delved into kind of virus movies or infection movies. I watched Carriers, I watched 28 Days Later, that sort of thing. Obviously very over the top, not unreal viruses that would happen. And I was looking for one on the Skybox and we managed to find one. It's called Blindness. And it happens to be that the whole world goes blind. There's an infection, it goes around, it makes everybody just see this pure whiteness. That's all they can see.
It's weird that you can just see pure whiteness.
It's just, that's all you can see, just pure white, nothing else. It stars Julianne Moore, Mark Ruffalo, and several other people. And it happens to be one of the most bleakest films I've ever seen in my life.
Fucking dreadful.
It's horrible. They basically...
It's just so harsh. I'm like... Should we just say rape?
All the worst things a human can do happens in blindness.
People raping blind people.
Yeah, blind people raping blind people, effectively, or forcing them to have sex for food or for other items, cleanliness items. There's murder. There's people just walking around shitting in corridors, naked. There's a guy who there's one person in the film who you can see, which is Julianne Moore. Like, she seems to be unaffected by the virus for whatever reason. She's immune, and she has to help these people, and there just gets more and more people, and the burden of her being
concentration camp.
Yeah, it basically is a concentration camp. If they try and escape, they get shot at, and then it's just. I thought the movie would be more kind of them struggling to make it through a city with loads of danger and stuff. Yeah. But actually, you spend the majority of the film, a good hour
in a concentration
camp. Where it is awful. It's well done. I will say this is well done, well directed, but it is as bleak as anything you've ever watched. The 2 nights after, I struggled to sleep because I was still thinking about it. It's that bleak.
I remember watching it, turned it off, and I was like, never again am I watching that.
Yeah.
What did I choose?
I think you left towards the end.
I couldn't do it anymore.
I think there was another 10, 15 minutes after you left.
It was a long movie.
I was like, yeah, it was about 2 hours something. I think it was.
Yeah, for that,
roughly.
I was like too long.
Yeah, it was a lot of. I would have probably have liked if they'd maybe the last spoilers for the movie, but the infection kind of wears out, doesn't last. And I kind of wish that had happened a bit sooner, and then we could see them kind of how they're going to rebuild and restructure and
No, I don't mind that. Just less.
And they have to live with the things they've done, that sort of thing. But yes, so if you're looking for a very, very, very bleak, dark, and disturbing film, Blindness is for you.
Yeah. So you chose that, and I chose one. I can't remember.
What did you choose?
I don't know. Didn't I choose to watch like Toy Story 4? Like
yes, yeah. Toy Story 4 was good. Nowhere near as bleak.
No, it's not.
No,
great film.
Still a bit creepy in some places, but mostly the villains.
Which point?
Most of the villains.
Yeah,
the ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah,
they're very, 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 very creepy.
Goodbye. He's so scary. Nice one.
But yeah, he did. Bong Joon-ho did very well after this as well. He was actually offered quite a few kind of monster and kind of sci-fi movies and stuff. Afterwards, he was given the script for Iron Man 2, and he was given the script for World War Z.
World War Z. Oh, I was hoping to make a second of that. They have canned it, haven't they?
No, I think they are still...
Nope, canned it.
Oh, they definitely canned it.
Because China will not let movies be shown with zombies in them, so it's just been fully canned. Yeah. China's state, whatever they are, I can't remember the word.
Republic, People's Republic of China.
Yeah, well, I mean, the people who choose what films you can have, one of their rules is you cannot have zombies in their films. So they have, because China's such a big market now... World War Z's been two's been canned.
Yeah.
I really liked it, actually.
I mean, that's
a lot different to the book. If you've read the book, I have.
Our friend Andrew Knowles loves the book, and I got. What did I get? I think I got the book signed for him by the man who wrote it, I believe, or it was How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. I think maybe that was the sequel to World War Z. I think I'm pretty sure it was the same guy. Anyway, but I asked. Speaking of zombie films, I asked our listeners. Well, my listeners, not yours.
Our listeners.
I'll
be honest.
Nobody listens. I barely listen to you as it is.
I think once I change the parental settings on our TV service,
don't do that.
You will be so frustrated.
I need to watch all the films that I need to watch.
So many
not the dirty ones. Just the.
You need to stop renting pornography.
I do not do any of that. Why would I pay for pornography?
Just to recap, you rented Adult Nightly, pay-per-view, Big and Bounty. Whatever you want to do.
Lies, all lies. You know it's lies. Anyway, back to our podcast, which is about things, actually, us doing things. Okay, so I asked.
Sounds weird now.
We have subjects. We like to talk about it.
Go on, the listeners.
But the listeners, they have said. So, Nerds Chatting on Twitter have said. I basically asked, do you have a favourite South Korean movie, and if so, which one? So, Nerds Chatting said, never seen one. And then they've posted a little gif of a monkey with an ashamed face, or I guess it's maybe see no evil face if it's a monkey, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Covers the eyes. So that was Nerds Chatting at Nerds Chatting, if you'd like to follow them on Twitter. Very good podcast. I highly recommend a listen. I am Jack's Musings at I am Jack's Musings. Haven't seen Parasite or The Train to Busan yet, so as of now, it has to be Memories of Murder, Just Over the Handmaiden. Memories of Murder was Bong Joon-ho's first film, or first feature film, I believe. And The Handmaiden is quite a recent one. I think it's sort of a kind of memoirs of a geisha type thing. I think she's a prostitute or something. But Train to Busan is one of the best zombie films ever made, easily.
Scary, wouldn't watch it.
It is scary, but it's very, very good. It's really, really good. Set on a train, like Snowpiercer. You like that? That was on a train.
I hate trains. I learned to drive because of the train service in the northwest of the UK.
Fair enough. Then I Am Jack's Musings came back and said that Edgar Wright wants in on our podcast topic. So Edgar Wright posted basically that he loves South Korean movies, and posted loads of Korean movies to get people into watching more of them, which is a great idea for him.
I've only watched 3 South Korean films, but I think that's, in general, I'd say that's a lot more than most people.
Yeah, the average probably viewer, the English or Western viewer, probably hasn't seen as many. Yeah. I've seen. I probably could count them on one hand. The amount I've seen: Old Boy, Train to Busan, this,
Snowpiercer.
I mean, technically,
Snowpiercer's
could you? I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, so definitely go out and see more South Korean films. I think all international movies, because I think they all need support and they all need, and they're all good movies. There's
French
good films out there. French films.
I do quite like.
I've been trying
cinema.
I've been trying to get into it more French cinema recently. I watched
The Minions is French. So you can watch The Minions.
I don't know.
It's a French producer.
No. I want subtitles. Like Bong Joon has said. He hates dubbing as well. He's not a fan of dubbing. I don't like
dubbing. I'd rather just read subtitles.
The only time I like dubbing is when I'm watching like an old martial arts movie.
When they just demand speak.
It's like, yes, you will suffer through art. Dragon style, that sort of thing. That kind of there's a bit of kind of humor and kind of levity that's made with the bad dubbing. There's something about it.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's something about it. But every other film, it puts me off a little bit. And going over to Facebook, so that was all on Twitter. So going over to Facebook, Annette Wantling has said, "Train to Busan, hands down. It is one of my all-time favourite films." But special mention has to go to Phone 2002 for having one of the most creepy child performances in cinema history. So I think Phone is a little bit like The Ring, a little bit, but it's like a haunted phone.
It's Ring Scream as well, isn't it?
No, Ring is Japanese.
Okay, no.
So Ringu.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I've seen The Ring, the original Japanese one, which is quite weird for me, actually, isn't it?
It is.
I went to cinema to watch that.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Fair enough.
Nearly cried.
Because it was
scary.
Because it was scary.
Scary.
Great. So overall, what is your feeling about the film? Were you happy with it? Did you enjoy it, or would you?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I like films. I'm a big movie fan. I'll watch one in the evening. I will watch one after we finish this.
Yeah, probably.
It was okay. 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit less, 6.5. But maybe you enjoyed it more because you like more of the monster film.
I'm kind of.
I don't mind monster films, but I'm sorry, but I am guilty of loving big budget American ones.
And that's your preference.
At
least you give it a try.
To be fair, the first 2 films I ever watched at the cinema when I was a kid. The first one was Jurassic Park, the original. Phenomenal film. Great film to watch. First one. The second was Godzilla.
Not so great.
Yeah, not so great. But you know what? I've got a lot of time for it because it's so crappy. It's good, and I'm still.
I did like Hank Azaria in it, but I like Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria, just because he's in The Simpsons.
I like him in everything.
Yeah, just because he's in The Simpsons. Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. I liked the dad. I liked the granddad. Hated the uncle. The daughter who was kidnapped by the monster and kept in the lair. Also, she became a protector of that kid. Protector of the kid.
Good. Yeah.
She protected.
She was really cool. Yeah.
And to be fair, she tried outsmarting that monster and tried beating it herself as well. Because when she was trying to escape the lair, it was asleep or whatever, and then trying to jump up into that big rope. She
made a rope out of all the victims' clothing.
Great.
I mean, the action. I quite like the action scene at the end as well. The finale is actually pretty good as well.
So we don't want to spoil it for the listeners. So. I wasn't a massive fan of that, to be fair.
No.
I wasn't a massive fan of it. But I liked what happened after and then a year down the line of what's
development.
Changed. And I thought it was really, really good. But yeah, overall, I'd say 6.5, 7 out of 10 for me. I'd not watch it again.
No.
I've seen it now.
Yeah.
I might have to watch, was it Train to Busan?
Train to Busan you'd like.
Yeah.
I think you'd like it.
But is it too scary and gory?
It's very 28 Days Later, I'd say. That type of zombie. It's like the second they get bit, they're infected and they're like, blah, blah. If I'm in the room with you, they can't hurt you. It's fine.
Yeah, but you never let me cuddle you anymore.
There's reasons. so many reasons.
But you know what?
Reasons beyond reasons.
I'll tell the police. You don't need that that piece of paper against your name anymore.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad you've done that. Where can they find you on the social medias, if indeed they want to find you at all?
Which social media?
Which social medias and why?
Bebo.
Bebo. MySpace.
MSN
Messenger.
MySpace is still around, and it's owned by Justin Timberlake. What a fact that is! It's a weird one. It's a true one.
Napster.
I'm on Twitter. I can't remember my Twitter. Is it MXCATT?
I think so, or it's the other one.
No, I got banned. I don't know why. Never tweeted anything bad. So,
well, clearly somebody took issue with you.
Yeah, maybe. And social media. Yeah, so that's it really. To be fair, I don't really post much on Facebook. I don't really.
I mostly tag you in things we're watching. That's probably it. Or I tag you in something. Yeah, memes.
Comic book things.
Yeah. Don't post anything too serious because
I never.
You don't know what people are going to call you. Or
on Instagram, I do.
Instagram, okay.
XATT.
Okay, I will tag you in the posting of this podcast, so people can find you. But you can find me and the podcast at Facebook. It's at Secret Bores. Type that into the search bar. Twitter, it's at Dan_Bores. Instagram, Spider Dan Secret Bores, all one word. And the podcast is available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, many, many more. If you'd like to donate towards the podcast, you can buy me a coffee. That's at ko-fi.com/SpiderDan and the Secret Bores. And don't forget to use the hashtag #PrepareForPrattle when you interact with us.
Prepare for Prattle.
Prepare for Prattle. Do you like that?
It's one of my favourite new hashtags.
Oh, that's good.
I will use it.
You see, that's funny because Spider Dan and the Secret Bores, so that means that's Secret Wars, based on the Marvel comic book, where Spider-Man gets his black costume, and they go to a place called Battle World, and I call the podcast, it's Prattle World.
I knew that. I knew that. Massive fan of the hashtag. And
who's the main villain in the Secret Wars, the original 1980s one?
Knew this one. Yeah, Hacker Man. Yeah.
Is he from like the New Zealand All Blacks?
No, Hacker Man.
Doing a hacker.
No. No, I've done that.
Doing a hacker. Yeah.
I did that while I was in New Zealand.
That does not surprise me.
At a Maori kind of thing, they asked me to do it, and it wasn't just me. They did. There's actually. I'll show you the video. Anyway, Hacker Man. No, like hacking.
You mean from? Hackerman. Oh, right. You mean Hackman?
No,
John Hackman.
From where?
From Kung Fury.
Yes, you got it.
Do you know who you're talking to? It's a cult film podcast. Of course I know what Kung Fury is. Triceracop, my favourite.
I was telling people that work
Kung
about
Fury.
This, so they didn't believe it was a real.
Oh, it is real.
Yeah.
It's getting a feature-length sequel. It's so real.
It's so good.
But that is all the time we have tonight, unless you want to say anything else, anything that's on your mind or super important that you want to tell people.
Donate to Dan. I give him a coffee. He deserves it.
Yeah.
He's a good podcaster.
Thank you.
I'm a big listener. I listen to every single one.
Lies. All lies.
It's not a lie.
It's lies.
I've downloaded every single one.
Well, if you download them, and don't listen to them, that's fine. I appreciate it.
My favourite one, well, I did like the Finley one.
Finley. Yeah, he's good. He's good. I like him.
He's my child. But then the other one was the one with Scott.
Yes, very popular one. With the top 5 comic book based video games.
Yes. Very good. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your support, and thank you for being on this tonight and watching that monster movie, and I know that you are quite deathly afraid of. Okay.
I am.
You're deathly afraid of fishy creatures. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Goodbye, everyone. Hope you enjoy this. Bye-bye.
Bye.